Okay,
Okay, I got it.
here we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Gathering of Eagles. I see someone's with us here. Is it Chris Ann? I hope that's proper pronunciation. Welcome. We did this differently today. So much has gone on. We're all so busy. We just popped something up an hour ago and invited people. I already knew we had a big virtual audience. We've got two groups. One's on the res in Pine Ridge and the other's off the res. Between them, there's 36 people. 12 of them are our youth corps that's been working with us for a couple months now. And we got 11 grandmothers over, where are they again?
I believe Green Bay area.
Yeah, Green Bay area. Thank you. So they're all feeding in through the phone here. I was hoping Chris would show up. I was going to have him do the Buddhist. If not, so be it. We'll do it later. Okay, I'm going to open with just a prayer first. This is going to be general chat time. We're going to go into whatever we feel best. There is so much going on. The ice people are getting backed up against the wall. Valerie and I were just chatting, and it's making them, I almost said like rabid dogs, but I don't want to disrespect dogs. But they're panicking. They're pushing back. Let's talk about that some. Let's send love and light against these things. There's a couple more people. Let's hope it's, oh good, there's Melissa. Good. We've got camp set up by Valerie now. The Lakota and the Dakota are both there. And about 10 or 11 people who were on our call from up in Pine Ridge and above are going to head there tomorrow, including 5 of the youth corps. So we will hear from them while they're there, probably next week. Don't know how long they're staying. Tom, how long are you planning on staying? Do you know? Okay. Hi, Melissa. And we've got the monks. Welcome. And we've got the monks in D.C. Originally today, it was estimated there were about 30,000 people there. I heard from people on site about an hour ago. The estimates are now over 40,000. So somewhere between, let's say, 35 and 45,000. Tomorrow, the estimates are there may be 100,000 people there. And we posted things all around for whoever hears tonight or whoever listens to this. There's links for tomorrow to engage in the program. I've got a bunch of people sending prayers. If you want to send prayers, that's awesome. Whatever moves you. If you just want to hear the monks and watch Aloka, the dog. He's the real leader. He's the four-legged leader. So, yeah, whatever moves you. But that's some beautiful, beautiful, healing, peaceful energy, which is really, I think, what we got to just keep pulling in now to offset things. So, oh, I see Chris just came in. Excellent. I was going to do the opening prayer, but I think what I would rather do, I've done a little bit with the Buddhist. I've taken the vow, but Chris has done more. So if he's alive, awake, and willing, maybe he could share some of the Buddhist chant for peace. Is that doable, Chris?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
So I invite us all to just take a moment, be with the breath, and we just go inside, focusing inward. And with this, we're going to do some metta panyu, which is love and kindness. And as we breathe in, may I be well. And we're just saying it to ourselves quietly. As we breathe out, may all beings be well. As we breathe in, may I be well. And as we breathe out, may all beings be well. We'll just follow this for about 5 to 10 breaths. And remember, we're wishing all beings well, equally in as much as we wish ourselves well. And we wish ourselves well, equally in as much as we wish all beings well. All those who are in our life, we include in this prayer. Two-legged, four-legged, winged ones, mountains, trees, the earth herself. May I be well. May all beings be well. We just offer this to the universe. For those who are interested, we can start the day with this. And before we go to sleep at night, we can begin our night with this, just as a starting prayer. I invite you to come back to the breath, back to the room, back to what we're doing, who we're with. Just quietly and gently opening our eyes again, being with the here and now, where we are, who we're with, and what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Awesome. A great way to start. And I'll repeat because there's more people coming on, including more with the Pine Ridge group at the moment. The monks are in D.C. They've been doing things all day. First estimates were 30,000 people. About an hour ago, I heard from someone on site that they're now saying it's closer to 40,000 people. Tomorrow, they're anticipating 100,000 people. So it's a great place to connect up, send your love. Everything's being live streamed. There's links on our pages. There's links on the monks' pages. There's links I put up from my friend Becky. They're doing a live stream through United Earth as well. So I would suggest if you get a chance, check in. If not, pause at some point during the day. It's going to be going on for about 6 hours. Just send a prayer or a thought or something like Chris just did. Doesn't matter. Whatever moves you. So there's, so all four of us are here who are co-hosts of this thing, which means we're guides, because this is about everybody. So whatever's moving you right now with what's going on, let's kind of go there. Hey, Valerie, is there any on-site updates you want to bring us, since you're up there and at Ground Zero in Minneapolis?
Well, I am in Wisconsin, but that's
Oh,
close
sorry.
enough. It's all right. I just didn't want to mislead.
Your
Yeah,
daughter's up there, right?
my daughter is.
Got it.
She actually works at the VA hospital that is literally across the highway from the Whipple Center, which is where the encampment is. And I'm just so thrilled with the efforts of our Native friends who just know. I mean, if anybody knows how to deal with this situation, they're hundreds of years of oppression is really, and how to deal with it is really our anchor right now. So Pine Ridge people who are coming through, and the Dakota, there are many. I know the Ojibwe as well have been active. So doing ceremonies, really doing what you shared with us, which is the APEC model, and it works. So I'm very encouraged by what's happening there. And I think you're right. There's a certain ICE is scared because what is their anchor? They don't have one. Um, you know. So that's my thought.
Couldn't find the button. Great. Hey, Melissa, any opening thoughts, energies, anything?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, when Chris was sharing that beautiful prayer, I just held, for me, what I found working with the amethyst and the violet crystals, really to help anchor this. And so when I've done the programs in the past, and I have a couple of my loyal followers here tonight who have been inspired by Mission 33, which is really, it's just stopping and being in that 0 point and allowing the blessings to come and just being real present. Because what I find, I'm coming from the clinical social work background, in addition to integrating so many different paths and ways to heal. It comes down to really getting to the root cause. And so when we get to the root cause, a lot of times healing is a spiral. We know this. And it ripples out. So we just have to go deeper and deeper. And how I see that is using the element of fire in transmutation. So I'd love to just, I have this beautiful scepter that I got in Florida many years ago. So there's a beautiful Buddhist center in Mims, Florida that I attend. And when Chris was talking earlier about that, I was thinking about my travels there. There's this 32 feet tall statue that was erected on my birthday, so February 24th in 2012, of Avalokitesvara, who's another form of Kuan Yin, which is another form of the mother, which is another form of Gaia in my heart. So if we could just see and use those crystals to encircle the earth in this violet flame of transmutation. So anything, there's a lot in the collective. There's so much in the media. Our youth are reading things through a lens with no filter. And there's a lot of questions, and there's things that are coming up and being unearthed in the collective that are trickling down to empaths and people who are sensitive, highly sensitive people. And I know that our youth have shared this, and the grandmothers sure can usher this in, and it's so prevalent, a time where we need to focus on the moment, staying present and focusing, bringing in the earth and the elements from the earth and the fire to transmute fear into love is, I think, a really beautiful tool. So it's just, if you have a violet crystal of any kind, you can just draw the flame around you, and with that flame, just see it around our beautiful Mother Earth and around protecting all of the parts, especially at our capital where we have so many people with such heart-centered ideas and love. It's the rapture. It's the rupture of the rapture is what I was hearing earlier. It's the rupture of the rapture. And having reverence and rhythm and routine. That's why walking and getting to that left and right. I led a program called Production to Peace last May, and every day we walked through my favorite home forest for peace. So this violet flame, there's a beautiful mantra. It's just, I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity, creator, God, my higher self desires. So just see that violet flame all around our beloved earth, and just, below the satellites, in between us and those satellites, transmuting all of that weird, wonky electromagnetic frequency that's penetrating, that's making us anxious, that's, dislodging things. But know that we came here for this, and we have all that we need. Talking stick in the middle.
Thanks. That's beautiful. I'm going to go back to Chris in a minute, but I'm just, there's so much going on, and like filtering through. It keeps going in my head, so I keep pushing it back to the heart. Just trying to filter things through, because I'm literally jumping from one thing to another. So one thing I did want to bring up in the beginning of this, I learned it myself, relearned it again the other day. I've been doing a bunch of things, and I'm no young chicken anymore. So I get tired. And I was forced, I accidentally left my phone in the car when I went off with my dogs. So I was forced not to have it. And I had an incident while that was going on that I would have recorded. No, it's time. Make sure you cut yourself off at times. Take a break. Follow up on what Melissa said. The crystals, the rocks, the trees, especially the animals. Mitakuye is all my relations. Bring them all in. They're all there and waiting. It's really, really important. I started literally shaking when I did that the other day because I've been recording and sending and people were calling me and I started to go back for it and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And then while I was sitting there afterwards, I went, darn, like maybe I should have, because we got attacked by a guy in the dog park. Young guy with his dog who decided everybody else's dogs had to act like he wanted them to act, and he just started screaming at us. And some of us who were older, he started yelling about, you old people, you should all die. Maybe you'll, after they take care of the, fill in the blanks, I'm going to be generic. After we take care of the dark people, and people from other places, we're coming for you next. We don't need any of you people. It was that kind, and it was pure rage, pure rage. There was no thought involved. And there's a lot of that out there right now. So as we're doing this show, send out love and light throughout the show. Some of this is intentional. A lot of it is subconscious. This fellow honestly didn't know what the hell he was doing. He just kept going on and on and on. And I felt sorry for him. I didn't get angry. No one else there actually got angry. We were a little shocked, but not angry. And it's happening now. The Super Bowl was triggered a lot the other day. How dare those performers in the middle of the show do it in Spanish? God forbid. They're from Puerto Rico. They're Americans. They also speak Spanish. To me, that's, wow, great. They represented their culture. I don't have to understand their words. Hell, when rock plays now, I don't understand half the words anyway. So I got the energy. I definitely got the energy. And when he allowed a wedding to happen in the middle, what a beautiful idea. So, it's happening, like Melissa or Valerie was saying before, they're backed up against the wall. Bigger and bigger percentage of people are saying, that's enough, no more. And so they become dangerous, but they also should be, I hate the word to use the word pity, but we should feel for them because they don't know how to get out of this horrible place they are. Some will, I hope, some may not. But whatever happens, let's just keep going with it. Hey, Chris, that was a beautiful opening. Did you have any other thoughts to put in at the beginning, though? Or are you eating?
Yeah, I can add to that. Thank you very much for that. A lot of what I do when I'm aligning with intent for the day, sometimes, I'll go on social media and I notice when I'm getting distracted by looking at the phone or scrolling on the computer, and I notice how it takes me away from where I feel alive, where I feel present. And I learn to come back to what's important to me in this moment. I connect with my breath. I might do a walking meditation where I just walk 20 paces, turn around and walk back. It's being present with myself, with the movement, with the earth, with the air I'm moving through. Or if I'm in a stream in water, I feel the importance of the water, the air, the earth, and the sun and the warmth we get from that. I find the beauty in it because what we're finding, we've got things that are trying to take us away from connection, away from beauty, and things that bring us back to that connection and back to the beauty, because it is through beauty that we feel the love of things, whether it be a person, an animal, even an event, watching a baby smile, anything that brings us back home, to me, is worthwhile. So I walk with that, and I'll take a few moments, a few breaths, and a few steps just in that place of connection, and invite everybody else to do the same. Where do you find beauty around you, in your community, your neighborhood, your family? And walk that walk. You know, we could call it the beauty walk. Every time we do that, we're building that in our society and in our communities, and that goes out to whoever needs it from there. You know, people that we may think are lost, how can they find their way if nobody's walking the walk for them to follow? So I offer this as a contemplation.
Thank you, brother. That's perfect. For anybody who's new, by the way, Chris is down in New Zealand, so he carries the bottom part of the world for us. And anyone else here who's on, if you wish to speak at any point, put the hand up. There's somewhere you can do it in here, and we'll work you in. I'm going to bring in, Tom just sent 3 or 4 messages. First one's from our youth corps up there. There's now 13 of them there at the moment for this thing. And 5 of them are going to go with him now to the, what was it called again? Cold Spring, the camp that Valerie mentioned. The camp that's looking right over at the ICE facility in Minneapolis. So they want to ask everyone to please send our energy and prayers with them, because they need people behind them. And I already assured them we will. And I'll put this online tomorrow as well. One big thing, I've mentioned it before, but I'll do it quickly again. I'm old enough that I've been in a lot of things. So in the 60s, I was part of a lot of different things going on. Vietnam, I walked with Dr. King as a teenager, blah, blah, blah. The big thing back then is we had no one to back us up. No one. Almost no adults would listen. Some did. We had a few. Now that's changed. So those of us who are older, and they don't have to be as old as me, but those of us who are older, it's really important to back up the young people, our indigenous brothers and sisters who I could not feel better about than what's going on right now. The tribes are coming together. These things that are happening that feel painful and negative, and they are in fact driving us together in a way I've never seen before. I'm watching tribal members talk to each other, just like when we were at Standing Rock, who used to hate each other. And that is beautiful and perfect, and that's what we want to build on. The monks, wow, how many people are turning out for monks? How many even people know what a Buddhist monk is? It doesn't matter. They're feeling the energy, they're feeling the love. So that's what I wanted to put in. Tom, again, from the young people, they're very glad that Melissa's here, because any advice from your professional and Melissa, they welcome. They're wondering about safety. And Valerie and I were chatting when we came on a little bit early. There's no way to guarantee anything right now, but no one's backing down, and that's huge. If we back down, we lose. We're not backing down this time. They're showing it in Minnesota. They're showing it in other places. Here in Arizona, which is now a purple state, it used to be red. Groups are coming out all over. Youth groups are coming out all over, and more demonstrative groups. What I would say, guys, is don't do anything stupid. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. That's absolutely critical, no matter who you are, where you are. That's what's working. They don't know how to deal with that. They're now also freaking out because the courts are telling them they have to take the masks off. And there was a politician, somebody sent me a clip earlier today. Thanks, by the way, everyone who sends me stuff, but I can't respond to all of it. But there's a politician who came out and he's, oh my God, we can't have them take off those masks. It's going to put them at risk. They and their families will be threatened then. Hello? What's it like on the other side, So it's something you just have to think about. How far are you willing to protect yourself. I put up spiritual protection every morning when I get up. But I'm 76. I've got a shorter road in front of me. You young folks have a really long road in front of you. So put up protection, but don't fear, because there is nothing to fear. We are on the right side of history. I have no question about that. I knew it in the 60s, and then we had to put it away. Now it's back, and it's the same kind of energy, only much, much bigger. So, yeah, protect yourself, send some prayers up, do some ceremonies. That model that we spoke about before is working really effectively. Action, prayer, education, and ceremony, the 4 parts. Doesn't matter what combination or how you're doing it, but it really, really helps. I see Chris has his hand up. See if what kind of Kiwi protection we have.
I was just noticed when you said something about, whether we're on the right path and trusting we're on the right path. If you ever want to know if we're on track, I always ask myself, am I supporting life? Am I standing with life, with nature, with vitality, and with love? And those I use as key indicators, but especially, am I here in support of life in all her forms? So, yeah, just a suggestion. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice workbench are working better, huh?
And yeah, what kind of support are you doing? This fellow that lost it in the dog park on a bunch of us the other day, his screaming and yelling was going to the point of they're removing all people of color, they're removing all immigrants, and then they'll come after we old people, and then it'll just be us here like it should be. Whoa, what a horrible place that might be. That means the haters are left? God, I hope not. So, yeah, thanks, Chris. I totally agree. Stick in the middle. Melissa.
This is part of what we can't, I think the biggest thing, because I'm quick to say, oh, we should do this and oh, we should do that and make suggestions. And I work with children, and a youth on a daily basis as a social worker and as a therapist. And a lot of them come to me with nightmares and they're so sensitive and they can't sleep at night. And the biggest thing is they have to find something that they believe in. So I can tell you, I shared about, having an amethyst, having, a piece of something, but it doesn't have to be an amethyst. And something that you love, it could be a picture. It could be a picture of somebody that you, an elder or an animal or what you may want. So one way for you to even just discover that is ask. Just ask and believe in your own internal compass and your own guidance. There's the ceremony piece. When we slow down and we take a breath as we began, we allow ourselves to connect with our true nature and realize that, yes, I feel that it's a good, I always say to people, don't do it unless it's a holy hell yes. That's it. You have to feel it. The body never lies. So that's your greatest thing. And the more and more that we are realizing and opening, and for you guys, you study this stuff. This is more of your culture. You've grown up connected with the earth and the land and with the animals. Most of us, right? But so many have not, and they're so disconnected. So if the more that you're around and you bring in the other species, it helps your intuition grow. And when you have a question, ask for a sign. And you can navigate it and you can negotiate with what or who you're speaking with and who is this higher power. And many times it's just yourself speaking to yourself. So I say follow your intuition and follow the goose pimples and follow the hair up on your arms. And when you feel it, follow your what you feel in your gut. And that's why we say I have this gut feeling. One thing that popped in my head when you asked in terms of that was the color orange, and I think of that because it's the color of that. Usually when we have these healing abilities, that's the color that I see coming out of people's hands. It's the color of the monks. It's the color I may look at somebody and know that they're part of this piece, walking a pace of grace on this earthly incarnation at this time. And one of my teachers taught me, tie an orange string around your solar plexus if you ever have anything that may be taken from you. And that, I believed him. So because I believed him, it works for me. But you have to believe it yourself. That's what I say. There are thousands and thousands of ways. But at the end of the day, it's you. And don't think that just because somebody may teach you one way, if you have a real feeling that it's not that way, question, question, question. You never know. Talking to
Yeah, some great information and advice there for sure. Absolutely question. I've had teachers of all four colors, and so I meld them, and sometimes I pull on one more than another. And you're so right. It's whatever moves you. Orange is interesting. I've played with that quite a bit because orange is also a color that the westernized folks do not use, especially in hospitals and mental facilities, because supposedly it's the color of a deranged mind. I find it the color that allows your mind to go to sleep for a while and allow your heart to come in. So it's right. Melissa's nodding, yes. So to me, that's really quite interesting, and it would be that way because those trying to control, yep, there you go, are trying to use the tools against us. Chris, I see your hand, but give me a minute. Let me bring in a couple of things from the grandmothers and from Tom and the kids there. Okay, so here's one to smile first and just give us a little light moment. Tom said some of the young people started chanting, "Bring on Custer, bring on Custer," and they're saying they're ready to bring back Custer again. The tribes have come back together. Thanks for that. Yeah, we know who Custer is this time. More seriously, they're talking about, and I mentioned some of the past stuff, and I've said before, Kent State was one thing that really stopped us back in the 60s. Something like that had never happened before. There was actually an incident before that, which very few people know about, because the young people who were killed were African American. I believe there was 4 of them killed in that incident, and the name is escaping me. I apologize. But then Kent State was all over everywhere, and that stopped things. Now, no one is allowing a Kent State to come through, and the grandmother's just saying that too. Those who have already been killed or arrested and impacted, it's horrible, but there will be no Kent State this time. And I think they're right, because we are the masses now. We're not the minority trying to be heard. So that's really yep. I made this note, and I can't read my own note. Oh well. Tom, I'm sorry I missed one. Put it up again if we need it. Yeah, but that's... Oh, the grandmothers were saying as well, especially young people, go ahead and tap into us. Maybe we're not as strong as we used to be. Maybe we're not as fast as we used to be. But hopefully we still have our minds and our spirits and our hearts. So whatever you need, just ask. And there's a lot of ways that's going on. Some of the groups I've been part of for a long time, a couple of them were youth only. They've now integrated others. And I've been asked to be a participant in those now, and not just a advisor. That's perfect. It's perfect. Same way some of our Native brothers and sisters are inviting others as well. Keep coming together. This is universal. This is the whole planet. Thank goodness for Greenland. That's really pulled people together. Any God, deranged person who thinks he's going to go and take over Greenland, it's amazing. But it did exactly what it was meant to do. Brought a bunch of us together. Okay, who's oh, Chris put his hand down. So Valerie?
I just had a few thoughts to share. First of all, community. Well, how essential that is right now for us to be building community. And really, this podcast right here is a perfect model of all the different age groups coming together. We got the grandmas, we've got the youth, we've got, all different, we've got the elders. We've got Jim, who's been through all kinds of stuff. And look at the sage wisdom that we are getting from his years of activism, as well as spiritual experiences as well. And then I also have just a little comment about the orange. Yellow tends to be the color of spirituality, and red is more of the associated with the root chakra, the physical, kind of experiences. Orange is a combination of both. So it is actually creation. So I think of orange as the color of creation. And I can see why that's being tamped down, because they certainly don't want us to be creative. And then the other thing I have to share is, if you're familiar with, and I'm sure you are, Don Coyes, and he wrote this wonderful book, The Red Road to Wellbriety. In this book, he actually spells out, what is a fear-based system and what is a love-based system. Now, consider, as I'm reading these attributes, consider who's exhibiting what characteristics. So if you have a love-based thought system, you have unity, love seekers, respect, responsible, honest, understanding, patience, acceptance, balance, honor, forgiveness, justice, integrity, power within. All right. If you have a fear-based system, you have conflict, fault finding, disrespect, irresponsible, dishonest, shame, impatience, guilt, sarcasm, belittling, anger, control, malicious teasing, power over. And I think about Jim, as he was sharing this guy that he ran into at the dog park. What kind of behaviors was he exhibiting? Was it a fear-based or was it a love-based? And this is one way that you can, in your encounters, be able to filter whether this person and what they're pushing, where's it coming from? Is it coming from a fear base or is it coming from a love base? And then you're going to know pretty quickly whether that's your person or not. So that's one way to kind of filter things. And then, of course, my last thought, and then I'll pass it up, the talking stick to Chris, is where's your anchor? I brought that up before, that, what's ICE? What are they anchoring into as we're gathering? And I'm so proud of all of you. And thank you for your putting feet on the ground, literally, in Minneapolis. So thankful for you. What are they anchoring into, and what are you anchoring into as we're doing our ceremonies? And we're anchoring into Mother Nature. We're anchoring into our Creator God. That is what's going to see us through, because it runs deep, and I think everyone in this circle certainly get what I'm talking about. All right, thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for being patient with me. Talking stick in the middle.
You're welcome, Valerie, and thank you. Just something I'll share from experience, from working with people's auras and things like that. And this is just how I see things. When I see orange, we often talk about colours as if there's only one shade of it. If I see a pumpkin orange, I see that as a very healing colour. And it's one of the significant healing colours. But if you go to a sort of red brick orange, that is out of harmony. And if we go to greens in the heart, there's two predominant colours I find here, pink and green. And the pink is the emotional side of love. Green is the physical aspects of love. And the green is like a fluorescent green, very bright, very, beautiful, really. If we go to an army green, that's out of harmony, which is understandable because you don't want your soldiers in harmony because they won't hurt anybody. So often looking at shading makes a huge difference. Even a slight variation of shade can change things noticeably and sometimes significantly. So, just something to be aware of. Talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, that's right. No, nothing is one thing. That's a good point. Very good point. This is neat. We're bouncing all over. Anybody else?
Just real quick, I don't know if you saw me shuffling before. I pulled a card and I have to share it's creativity. It's from this beautiful Palladian Oracle deck that I love, right? So, and that's what's so important is, even for our youth, well, how do I use my intuition? How do I foster that? It's a question by so many people who start on this path. Maybe, I ran I did a meditation. We did a guided journey to our inner visionary on Sunday in one of the circles that I'm in. And so many of them have been activated and then coming and like, okay, since that frequency and that harmony of us doing this, now I'm open. So now what? So one part and one way to ground that is weaving. You really do need to weave, whether it be like crocheting. This was something my daughter was working on. She pulled, the crochet or knitting, and even with your fingers or painting or even clay I did over the weekend. Anything at all to get your hands moving and your body moving is going to help you ground the energy so that you can be more guided with your intuition. So you're hearing that from all segments of us here today about the creativity. It's a big piece. It's just like meditating, even if it's for 5 minutes. You have to go there. You have to take those. Allow to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely right. Creativity is critical right now. We're weaving everything over because everything's crashing. Some people I respect are now saying that we talked about Phoenix and Thunderbird last week, that we are at that bottom point, and now Thunderbird is starting to lead us up. That means weaving time. Weave our own magic together. Everybody has a strand or two. Put it in there. And don't, the young people were saying earlier, well, we don't want to appear foolish. We don't know much yet. Oh, boy. No, don't go there. Ever. Don't worry about what it looks like. Speak your truth. Some pieces will fit. Some pieces will not. We'll just all keep playing together and see which ones fit the best. Something that the grandmother said earlier, too, I didn't get to. I've been playing with it too. I'm trying to paraphrase so it makes sense. Well, too many people were saying, I don't see it as much anymore, well, God is going to come and save us. The aliens are going to come and save us. The government's going to come and save us. The church is going to come and save us. Toenails on I don't know. Something's going to come and save us. Now, with what's going on, A lot of people are realizing it's we have to save us. And that's what's going on. That in itself is creativity. You can't, whether you're following indigenous beliefs, church beliefs, some other kind of cultural beliefs, nobody has all the answers. We don't know which are going to work. So keep stirring the pot. And yeah, I totally agree with that. Now we're out there doing it. We, the collective people. And it's so global. It's hard to, it's easy to miss because, of course, mainstream media is covering virtually nothing. Valerie.
I have an example to share for the youth, but really this speaks to everyone. There is a student by the name of Julian Maramontes. He's 14 years old. He's an 8th grade student in Los Angeles. He created an app called Know Your Rights to educate his community on their legal protection during encounters with ICE. He created quizzes so that people can learn about their rights. It's interactive learning. He developed this app during his STEM class. After witnessing the fear and confusion caused by immigration raids in his own neighborhood. So he put together this app, and basically you play with a game, but you are learning about what your rights are so that you have it in your head. It goes to that part of where, Jim, you talked about APEC, but you talked about the education part. But this is a 14-year-old kid, all right, who could have just said, well, what can I do? ICE is raiding my neighborhood. He put his mind and his ability to work. He came up with something that could help in his community, and he used his talents. These are all the things, that's that creative part. That's the weaving that we're talking about. And really, that's exactly what we need to do to get through this time. We each need to contribute our little strand, working together in order to create really the foundation of a better community, a better world. All right, talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, good point. Oh, Chris, you have your hand up. Go ahead. I'm having trouble seeing hands, by the way. So.
Yeah, there was a couple of things I was thinking of speaking to. One is being worried about appearing foolish. If we look at that concept, we see how much it's based on short-sighted judgment. Whereas, what if I appear intelligent? And intelligence doesn't mean having all the answers. One thing I've learned is when I'm doing a talk or a presentation or just communicating with somebody, if they correct me, I say, oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's a good lesson. It's not what we do, it's how we handle it. And if we appear to demonstrate learning, openness, being forthright, being willing to acknowledge I may not have known something as accurately as I could and I've been corrected, I'll share appreciation with the person who's correcting me because I've become a better person for it. I gain more wisdom, more understanding. These to me are good things and they're worth looking at and walking with. The other aspect of that, if you're doing it in front of people, you're acknowledging, thank you for that information. I really appreciate that if somebody adds to us. When we finish the presentation, the people that come up to us afterwards and acknowledge they really appreciated the way you handled something and demonstrated openness and learning, they're your tribe. So by offering an openness and behave your community, those who work with you in this process of constructive learning. So, talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, how we present ourselves, how we carry ourselves is really important. And over the years, I've been in places where I didn't know if I'd get out again. For some reason, I didn't let it. You know why? I was surrounded by people who also knew that we needed to be there and doing what we were doing. It was afterwards, looking back, that I went, damn, we were at risk. But in the moment, that trust, that belief, that counting on each other carried us through, even when we were being oppressed. And I was, back in the beginning, I was a minor player. I was just like a teenager. But I sure learned a lot just watching and participating. Melissa, were you up?
When you were speaking before, and Valerie, maybe you want to share a little bit about this, but I was talking earlier about the mycelium. And that was something that came up after this journey on Sunday that a lot of us took. And I was looking at what that was and what does that have to do with what's going on. And it just appeared that the mycelium for me really is like the fascia of Mother Earth. And I know that just as a social worker and people with mental health and trying to integrate all different things, I know that our own lymph system is just the last maybe like 12, 13 years that we really began studying and doing real research on our lymphatic drainage. And so I was a professor of biology for years at the school that I taught at. I taught social work, and I taught this biology course about the science behind our social issues. It was fascinating. But one thing that I taught was, frequency healing and talking about different ways to address major issues, mainstream medical model versus integration. And one is just shaking your shoulders. It's called the Lymph Man Shuffle. My friend John Osipinski, he's a licensed massage therapist, and he does that. He's known as the Lymph Man, and it's just every day, just shaking that. And so much of us, we need to do that because we need to take care of our temple. And as you're like, okay, how am I going to protect myself, or how am I going to be able to be the most centered and balanced? We have to take care of our physical body too, and especially when we're so much in front of the screens and our circadian rhythm is disrupted because of the toxicity of blue light. You see, I have my blue light glasses on here to block that because it tricks us to staying awake. And then when we're sleep deprived, the major systems in our body are not regenerating. And there's another R, right? We need to regenerate so that we're clear and that we are more connected to the earth, just like, putting our hands in the soil. We know that just the natural elements from the soil contain the same medicine as mainstream psychiatrists prescribe to kids every day for being depressed and anxious and all these things. They're giving them antidepressants and putting them on all these SSRIs, but you can do that with getting outside every day and putting your hands in the earth. And then I just see like tilling the earth almost like draining our lymph system. So as long as we can get the earth working together properly, our bodies will. So I think it's really important for us to look that we're human, we're solar, we're part human, but we're also so connected to everything in our environment around us. So that's what it made me think of. So Valerie, I know that we were talking about this in a chat. I didn't know if there was anything you were thinking about.
You said it so well, Melissa. I couldn't add much more other than the mycelium is kind of like this spider web, thin roots, basically best way I can describe what it looked like. And on our meditative journey, I went down into the tree and under the roots, and I met the mycelium, and mycelium gave me some real tremendous insight. And afterwards, this is really fascinating. I just mentioned we did our quick share because, I didn't want to hog up the whole time. So I didn't go into detail. I didn't describe what I had seen. But another member in our group in Sweden, drew a picture of what I saw in my meditation and then put it up on the screen right at the end of our circle time and said, "This is for somebody," and slaps this picture up there. And I'm going, that's the mycelium. That's what it looked like. And so I created a little chat so we could continue the discussion. But I do believe, just like Melissa's sharing, I believe there's a message there that is coming through about how our efforts need to be coordinated or working together, something along that line. There's probably a greater message than what I fully comprehend. So thank you, Melissa, for bringing that up.
Yeah, there's so many messages going on right now. It's going to take us quite a while to untangle them all. That's for sure. Yeah. Oh, boy. Okay, I'm going to move back into... So from Grandmother Val, who is the one who started the Grandmothers Group, they've been advising people up there how to stay safe and what's good protocols to use when you're out there. And they're saying that especially Facebook, but some of the others as well, is blocking them, not allowing them to post as much. And that is going on, so we have to get more creative. It's happening to me. Now I post in 5 or 6 groups and they just say, you can't post anymore for a while for the safety of the community. I don't know, I'm talking about these sort of programs. But anyway, so one thing we can do, and this the young people sent me, the next No Kings, Big No Kings rally is March 28th. We're hoping, everybody's hoping for millions and millions of people in the streets and global, not just here. So they're saying whenever you see that, see something for it, to pass it on. Post it somewhere else, tell somebody else, put it somewhere else. And I'll say that for this show too. I couldn't post much of anything, so we just posted up before the show and invited people in. I already knew we had a lot of people online. Yeah, if these shows are helpful, when you see something, post them out, because we're all part of this. This really is not our show at all. So, okay, that's a good one there. Something on weather, but I'll wait if there's any hands up.
I just have a quick question for the grandmothers. I have a friend who's approached me who she was born in Taiwan, but she's was adopted as a baby, raised in America. So she's American, but she wanted to know, same question that actually our youth is, how can you be safe? So if you have, Grandma Val, if you have something you can share, maybe, I don't know, if maybe you can send it to Jim and then Jim can send it to me in private message or whatever, some way. If you can get that to me, I'd love to share that with her because she's asking the same question. And of course, I'm worried about my own daughter who's right there, in Minneapolis, literally next to the ICE building. So working there, and she happens to be half Hispanic as well. So a lot of, I don't want to say fear, but it's legitimate questions. What do you do if you're encountering ICE?
So we're getting some response even as you're... So part of the answer is, how safe do you have to feel to be safe? Okay, I see what they're saying. If you want to be totally safe, don't go do anything. Stay home. Don't go out. Have your food brought in. That's one level of safety. If you want to be reckless, go do everything. But to be as balanced as possible, don't resist if they approach. Be with others. That's a big one. If you're doing, if you're protesting something, try to be with others, because these people who attack are primarily, they're cowards. And so they're going to attack, they see the weak points. And again, we saw that a lot at Standing Rock. if they could separate us out at any time, boom, that's who they attacked. So yeah, try to be with others. But also, we got to speak our truth now. This has to be out love and light. But don't get angry. Don't hate back. I know we say this every time, and we're always going to say it every time. If we hate back, we become them, and nothing changes. Some of us learned that a long time ago in the Vietnam protests. Hate back, it's going to keep going. Use the tools we have. Doesn't mean we accept what they're doing, not at all. Behaviors are not acceptable, but if we hate, they win the game. So that's kind of what I'm thinking on that. Other than that, she said you have to follow your own heart. And that's true. And it's tricky too, because I was talking with somebody about this the other day. It might have been Jerry. Nobody, pretty much the minority, looks like what they are now. And Valerie, we talked a little about this before the show too. So I'm Romani, Gypsy, and Native American. Those are my two largest DNA batches. And I look white as hell. and my tribe is so infused. Ours is a small offshoot of a major tribe. So we're a fairly small clan. But maybe there's 5 or 6 people within our tribe who look tribal. The rest of us look pretty much like me. So they're not always going to pick you up that way, that's for sure. But you have to be what you are. There's no way to get around it. My friends who look native, a couple of my friends from Standing Rock were here the other day. They dropped in. They were down off the res. And they were actually stopped coming down and harassed. They were not held. They let them go. But it wasn't a pleasant experience. One of them started to get angry. He's a good friend. But he was able to take that under control. But he's like, wow. And the other one was asking the people who stopped him, well, where are you going to send us? You want to send us home? We are home. This is our reservation. And finally they backed off. They're not even sure why. I think in part because they did not get angry back. And they asked some questions that made sense, even if the other people were not making sense. So that's a really, it's safety is a good thing. I don't worry about it much anymore. I'm not sure that I have for a long time. I don't do stupid things. And sometimes I'm a target. Some see me doing stuff online, and I get, that was a big one. That was the one I missed from before. Okay. The people who are pushing back against us are a much smaller minority, I think, than most realize. And this came from the group up on, some of the elders up on Pine Ridge. They see the same people or the same phrases over and over and over again. I do too. When I put something up here, I get a lot of positive comments, but then quickly I get 6, 8, 10. I'm a blah, 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 whatever. Libtard, liberal, communist, fascist. I'm everything. It's the same people. They may change names, but they're using the same garbage. So don't think you're getting an onslaught or say, I'm going to give up. Nobody's for this. They're all against it. No, that's not true. Trust me, it is a minority. And that's good to remember. Okay. Anybody else? Welcome, people who came. I see we have Grandma Mary. Are you
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi. Melissa said this is the place to be. Anybody who's anybody is here. Yeah, it's the cosmic surfboard. We've all showed up.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's funny you should say that because something popped up on the screen earlier. Cosmic surfboard. There was an old movie, Escape from New York. And there's this scene where all this weather's hitting and these things are happening. and the heroes on the surfboard surfing through the city. Just a weird image. It's funny you should say something like that, though. But
It was
yeah,
it was the closest thing to the truth that we could really take away.
yeah, yep,
To be it's a little ironic that to be somewhere you have to be nowhere. In other words, you're moving, you're gliding it along in order to be a part of something. You've got to have an entirely different relationship with the subject, which is
It's-
outside of it.
yeah. No, that's a great point. Yeah, especially now, there's a lot of that. Or you could argue, you have to be everywhere. Your spirit has to be everywhere at the same time.
That's right. How to be nowhere means to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
yeah, that's way too deep.
Yeah, I'll need time with that one.
Oh God, forget it.
But the other thing it brings in is it's like the water. When water hits resistance, as it flows, it just goes around. It keeps moving.
That's
Doesn't
right.
stop. Only humans try to battle whatever that resistance is.
That's right. And we keep forgetting that as the water moves around it, it also it doesn't go back there either.
Right.
It by going around it, it transforms itself into the next level of engagement. And so we humans, we tend to always want to go reconnect to the loop. We're tethered to the I always call it the string theory, the looping effect. And whereas water is actually moved on, and it can never go back to the thing that it was before it flowed around the object. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that's too quantum.
No, that's fine. Hey, we go everywhere here, especially right now. So I'm glad you're here.
Good to be here.
We did
I
get
really
Yeah.
appreciated your insight earlier. I missed some of it, but man, I tell you, that's worth re-listening to.
Well, I'm glad we hit some high points. I know we always do. It's because it's a circle of all of us. There's so much energy out there that's part of this. And that's something I truly, truly value. And somebody asked, oh, okay. So if you're on Facebook, A Gathering of Eagles is the group we started up that this podcast comes out of, but also a lot of other things. So go and join if you wish. A Gathering of Eagles. It's a good place too. We comment on things after the fact. And all of us are in a lot of different circles, so we bring in some pretty diverse stuff, and it's growing. So whoever that was who asked for that up there, Tom, thank you, and you can help them get there. Obviously, it's somebody who does has internet, so that's good. The weather. Are we going to touch on the weather? Coming from the grandmothers. Okay. Tell me what you're talking about, Grandma. Oh, the extremes. Okay, so that's some of our groups were created, especially those of us who are involved with Standing Rock around climate change, around them trying to force the pipelines under the res and everything related to that. We do need to be careful. I know what they're talking about now. We need to be careful not to lose sight of that as we do this as well. There's so much going on right now. We've been talking about it this whole show so far. But climate change is continuing to chew away at us. And that's one that can take us all down if we don't do something to moderate it. Again, mainstream media, zero or next to zero. If you go online, you can see some of it. I have friends send me a lot, and I try to put it up. Like I got some things from the Netherlands the other day. There's towns there that are completely engorged with water. you watch the water, you watch the picture in the video, it's up to second, third level, third floor in some places. That's going on all over the place. Fires, floods. That'll be working with the mother. That's my next big thing, and Chris and I do a lot of this together. We're doing some planning there. That'll be part of the reweaving. Things will be different than they were. We'll do a whole show on this, but just since we were asked, things will definitely be different than they were, so we'll have to adapt to that. We'll have to listen to the mother and do what she's telling us. Even now, that's starting. Because then in that model we talked about, Valerie, that's the education piece, becomes critical. And most of us here are
Thank you.
teachers or retired teachers. So I throw that out there if anyone sticks in the middle. Chris, your hand I thought was up, but it looks like it's down. Chris likes to do that. I think he exercises that way. And nope, guess not. Okay. Sticks in the middle.
Since we're bouncing around tonight, I thought I'd throw this in there. Today was that wonderful presentation by our monks that are walking for peace. And one of the monks was asked the question about, their thoughts on future generations. And the monk's response reminded me a lot of what Chris was talking about, that he expressed his concern with the youth always being on their phones, always being, in the computer and so on, that the concern is that they're not present and they're somewhere else, and he encouraged the youth to go out into nature and to connect with people. That was very important at this time and that it's needed. So thought I would put that out there. And I know that Melissa, you had posted right after I heard the monk speaking of this, you literally put up an article on our little chat about this and the concern, mental health and what's happening with our youth. Really all of us, but particularly our youth, because their minds are still developing and being bombarded by electronics and social media and, some of the ugliness of this time. I won't go into it, but you know what I'm talking about, and the youth seeing that. So talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, that's another whole show too. Got plenty of shows. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. The whole AI stuff, which now has opened so many cans of worms. But that's what it needs to be right now. Let's put it on. Let's bring it up. Let's get it all on the surface. Let's be able to see it. Then we can see what we're healing. And Kiwi Man.
Well, I was just sort of reflecting back to the water. One of the things I find that you can feel with the water is water holds the memory of all that it has touched. It holds the memory, it holds the energy of it. Not a memory as in a brain memory, but a consciousness imprint of what it has touched. So, talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, I still go revisit some of the work by Dr. Emoto that I watched in real time way back when. It's amazing what the waters can do. No, it's not. Waters are all about. Yes. That flow is just critical right now. I love that Melissa was talking about the lymph, because I've been having a lot of issues with my lymph, blocking up and not moving. I started going back into my clench, unclench exercises, especially down in my core, and that's been helping. Sometimes again we get too busy and we forget. Oh, I used to do this every day or twice a day. So now I'm stopping and turning everything off for a while, and just be with me, and I see what I have to do to get back in balance, which ends up making me more effective anyway. So, yeah, that was a good one, Chris. Thanks. Melissa, funny, I was just going to call on you even before your hand went up.
It's funny. So I was, after we were talking about Buddhism, I pulled a couple of my things, and I have one booklet, The Great Mother, and it's orange. So it just more synchronicities to say, yeah, that's it. But yeah, in terms of the lymphatic drainage, it really is so important for us to understand that. So those little exercises. But what I was going to share and how I met John Osipinski, who's the lymph man, was through the BioWell, which is a device that I use. It's a little camera, and it can see, you take pictures of your fingertips, and it sees inside your body the chakras, and the meridians based on traditional Chinese medicine, and it creates a sound meditation for you. And there's a lot of different devices, but one really amazing device that we have is a water sensor, which is so fun. So we actually can put this sensor and hook it up to the BioWell, and we can send it, just like Emoto did. We can send love to the water, and you can see it. So it's like, I love, like, one of my taglines is "Show me the miracle." I want to see it, because we're in a whole different ballgame of science, and it's beautiful. I love it. Just everything comes down to the elements. We began talking about the violet flame. Mary started talking about the water, and water is liquid light. It really is, and it's so important that we have that movement so that we can be our best, most grounded self. Because in all that I've done and all that I've learned, it's control of thought in the mind that is first and foremost. If we don't have control of that, we can never bring it down to the heart. And then from there, we can expand, and just visualization is so important to just, when we're starting to feel, or just stop, put our hands on our heart, look at our feet, and be in the present moment. Just constantly come back to that. Talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, I used to say a lot. I haven't done as much anymore, but it's still really valid. When I first started putting my nonprofit together, it's a time for traditional knowledge and wisdom to meet sustainable science and listen to Mother Earth, and then magic happens. And that's it's playing out now. I mean, this is like, wow. Magic, the way everything's just standing up and working. Things that some of us have watched for decades and we were ready to give up. My elders said, no, you're going to be here through this change, because then you got to teach someone the other side. And I was like, well, I guess they were wrong. But nope. So let's keep making the magic happen. We are the magic, really. All our little bits and pieces we bring in. Oh, excuse me. Whoops. Typing going on again. Oh, okay. So Tom's talking about there's different tribal ways they have to keep the body flowing and moving. And he asks others. One that I've used, and I've taken it up again, is Qigong. When I lived in California, I did it all the time, because we had a master there, Master Wu, who was in San Francisco, and then he would come up the coast. So yeah, there's a lot of different modalities you can use. I like Qigong because it was motion plus sound plus organs. So it really was, yeah, and I've started doing it again. And again, I was reminded, one of my friends, En Ching, who's Chinese, we were talking the other day, and he goes, don't you do Qigong anymore? And I'm like, oh, I guess not. Might be a good time to restart. So I pulled out, I have a CD, I pulled it out. So thanks for that. What do you guys? They mostly work directly with nature. Yeah, that's what I would suspect. Okay, so they do some physical exercises and then follow it with meditating or journeying, preferably in the morning. So it sets up your day. So they're asking, Melissa, what is this thing you're talking about? Is that something people can get access to?
What exactly? I spoke about a few things.
I think they're talking about the, oh hell, I lost the word. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, the lymphatic drainage?
No, the biowell.
Biowell.
Oh, the
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yes. I have two. And I can put my website. It's just it's my name. It's JenningsCounseling.com, and there's a link to the biowell, and there's some videos, and you can see some of what I do. The biowell is in person, so and there's different practitioners. Jerry is also a biowell practitioner. We found that in common. I've been working with the biowell for 7 years now. It's been a while, so I'm a distributor, and it's a device that people can buy and use on their own. It's more sensitive than a blood test, and it takes pictures. The meridians end in your fingers and in your toes, so it takes pictures of the ends of the fingertips, and it takes a live view, and it measures stress and energy on the body. But there's also different sensors. There's a water sensor, there's an environment sensor, there's a glove, and I use that in tandem with as a social worker. I began feeling other people's ailments. That went into a little medical intuition, and the biowell is a great tool, so you can see things, before and after. It could be before and after a journey, before and after a meditation, and energy balancing. If you're I use the tuning forks, just energy work. If you do any native healing using the colors and the elements, and how different things. I've been trained in a lot of different ways, but it's measuring the imbalance in your organs, in your major organ systems, and it's based on Ayurvedic techniques, the chakra system, which is part of the subtle energy body, and the traditional Chinese medicine.
Okay. I'm back.
It's a beautiful tool, and then it creates a personalized sound meditation for you that you can use another device to listen to with headphones with an extremely high frequency, or you take that home with you, and it helps people align and sleep. So many people have issues with sleep, but it's a diagnostic tool.
Yeah. Okay, so Grandmother Val, did you say sleep? And yes, I think you said sleep. And sleep is a tricky one right now for a lot of us, including me. I know when I go up here too much, I really have trouble sleeping. So I try to stay in the heart as much as possible. And yes, she did say it was the same one that Jerry talked about it on a show earlier. So yes, that's the same. Cool. I'd like to do more with it too, but I don't know when. This has taken me back a lot of years. My primary teacher was John Two Bears. And when you didn't have something you knew exactly what to say at the moment, he said, always remember how powerful silence is. So I was just sitting here looking at you guys, looking back at me. which, by the way, is another great protest technique. Stand and silently look at those opposing you. You'd be surprised how much it shakes them up. Mr. Chris of the Golden Hand.
I find that we're practicing that, being present with the person that's in front of us. If we do it with what we're standing here for, with presence, with love, compassion, empathy, presence of nature, that importance of it, by feeling the value of the breath, the water, the earth, that actually can convey across to the person who we're communicating with through that eye contact. And, there's often, it's in the silence that the small, still voice within is heard. And holding that presence is often a very key way of communicating, as Jim was saying. So don't undervalue presence. And we often get to find things about ourselves in that moment as well. Talking stick in the middle.
Yep, it's true. And my quiet periods are sometimes when I get the most done. I just have to remind myself to do it because I can get bounced from one thing to another. Okay, oh cool. When we sign off later, we're being asked to focus our ending prayers on those of our brothers and sisters who are going to be going to Cold Weather Camp, which we can do, and we're also being requested to be there with them. So send them thoughts, send them prayers. They'll send it back to the group as well. So that's really, we will definitely do that. Definitely do that. And you all travel safely. I know you will, but you're there. You're there for all of us. All the circles. I don't mean just us right here. All the circles. Christopher.
Yeah, it's a big thing that know that when you're there, like Jim's saying, you are there for those of us who can't be there. And for myself, I really appreciate that. It's just a couple of miles for me to travel all the way over there for something like that. So, yeah, know that you stand for those of us who can't be there. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, we're starting to learning or relearning how to stand as one. White, red, black, yellow, one. And that's good. It's good to see. I've seen it in various things we've done, but now it's spreading rapidly. Finally. Glad I'm still here to see it. Anybody else have anything?
I found that the power of silence as I find it very mysterious because it's not the absence of sound, but sound wielding itself through a whole other atmosphere. There just seems to be something that happens with silence, that it grounds me into the 0 point field of gravity at such a deep penetrating manner that it can be amazingly noisy, not auditory, but spiritually, because it's so zero. It isn't the absence of sound, but it deepens sound. And in doing so, the elements seem to go deeper as a result of it, such as gravity or the morphogenic field, like in water. I find that very mysterious, in a good way, inspiring.
Yeah, I agree. And I've been in a number of things over the years where we use silence. We used it recently in a few of our um, protests near here in this Cottonwood area. We had a couple very noisy confrontations when they wanted to come and take some of our Mexican brothers and sisters. And it was in front of a church, so the church leaders stood up then. But we decided to do silent in the next one, and we did it, and boy, was that powerful. It was about 150 people at that one. And we stood like statues, silently just looking ahead. And they truly didn't know how to deal with it, and after about 15, 20 minutes, they turned and left. I mean, the only other thing they could have done was start arresting us all. I don't know what that would accomplish. They didn't. They all just turned and left. And that one we have on tape because somebody was taping it. Not one of us, but from outside, which was nice. So yeah, silence is, I mean, all these things are powerful. And I'm with you. When I go into that silent thing, whether I'm alone or whether I'm part of a movement or whatever, that's when the ancestors often talk to me. They talk to me in dreams, but if it's going to be in wake time, it's when I'm silent. Good reminder. Chris, sorry I missed your hand there.
Yeah, and the way I tend to describe it, it's not absence of sound, but absence of distraction is what silence offers. And we can be aware of the external distraction, but also the internal distraction till we become present with the moment and what the moment and the current experience offers. One of the ways that we use in meditation is if we notice internal thoughts and distractions arising, we just go, thought arising, and we visualize it like a leaf floating by in a stream. It comes into view, I notice it's there, I let it go as it drifts on by. And in doing this, we're learning to practice non-attachment. So thoughts may arise, but we do not have to attach to them. And I find that quite a useful practice as well. Talking stick in the middle.
Thank you. That was so beautiful. Thanks.
Yeah, that was.
You're
Passing
welcome.
Passing through from our grandmother group. Grandmother Val says that they will be sending prayers, love, and protection every day to those who are heading up to the cold water camp. So know that and ask to let us know what's happening if they can. So I pass that all along. Very nice.
Now, can somebody explain to me? I missed out on what are they doing up at the cold water camp?
Oh,
The group.
you want to take it, Valerie?
I'll try to describe it the best I can. ICE is held up in it's a federal building called the Whipple Center in Minneapolis. And there is a good plot of land around that area. I think it's mostly Lakota and Dakota tribes have set up camp right outside of the Whipple Center there and have pitched their teepees, and I've got literally a camp, a fire going, and they're doing ceremony. And it is a way of just peacefully resisting the presence of ICE, which we've asked in many ways and many different ways for them to please leave. So this is another way of doing that.
There's another whole round of protests in some places. Some have started already to protest these huge, hell, they call them prisons. They're not. They're concentration camps and buildings. And they've already shut down about half of those from happening. So those are going on too. So if you're in an area where one of those is proposed, take a look, because there's probably going to be a protest around it. And that'll also be part of that March 28th No Kings rallies. Ah, boy. There's no shortage of things to do. And, I always bring up, too, because I get questions a lot on this during the week. Yes, we know we have some people, young and older alike, who have physical limitations and they can't get out there. That's totally fine. Work from where you are. Send your energy. Send your love. Post things around. Do what you can do. No one's expected to do more than their body, mind, or spirit allows them to do. But everybody can contribute in some way. Yes, sir.
One of the things that comes up for me is, for those who are going there, just keeping us posted about what's happening there is a big thing, because there's those of us who hear about it, but don't have that same on the ground presence and understanding of what's going on. So sharing from your experience when you're there is always much appreciated. It helps the rest of us keep informed, stay accurate with what we're doing and understanding. And it can also convey ways that we can support you, even just in acknowledging your posts, your sharing, and your presence there. Give those of us who do support ways of interacting and joining in. So thank you for that. Talking stick in the middle.
You're right. And so that they're backing that up here, too. Asking me to mention the various ways. So yes, there's a lot that comes in. I have a lot of connections around from stuff I've done for so long. And so do others in our group. So you can go, welcome to come to my page if you wish, but you can go to the Standing Rock Protectors page, which we began right at the beginning of Standing Rock, and there's still about 130,000 of us in there. And we'll keep you updated there, because we are getting information come all the time. You can go to a Gathering of Eagles. We put a lot of it there. So it does get put around. You just have to search it out sometimes. I think those are, for me, for our groups. We still have some of the first people who stepped up with me at the beginning of Standing Rock in that Standing Rock group. We're still there as admins. I guess probably because we don't have a life, but that's okay. But no, seriously, and a lot of others who were there. And some who are now gone, like LaDonna, Brave Bull Howard, her spirit's there with us. Myron Dewey, who was killed, his spirit's there. So tap into some of those places and connect the dots, because the dots connect. They truly connect. Some of the energy I feel now is the same energy I felt in the 60s. I didn't know what it was then because I was a puppy, but I felt it. And I had some older people who helped. I've mentioned the Berrigan brothers before. If you want to do a little search, see what the Berrigan brothers were about. They were two Jesuit priests who actually helped start the Vietnam protests, and I worked with them in Philadelphia. They ended up being invited to leave the Jesuit order because they were activists, but there was some of that going on. Now it's like that little seed that was planted is starting to bloom big time with all of us. So, yeah, tag into it. Energy is important. Energy is really important. So whoever asked that, and I forget, I'm glad you did, that anybody can contribute any way they can. Sinor.
One of the things that I find and remember as you're saying that, Jim, it reminds me, energy is consciousness, because even everything made from energy is made from source, and that's great spirit, whatever we call it, and that's that consciousness that's coming up to us to awaken, to enliven, to move forward, and to come back to life. It's, to me, this whole period of life we're going through is asking us to awaken again, back to the mother, back to life, back to that unity mind that we all have. When I say mind, I'm not referring to brain activity. I'm talking about that sense of presence we all have within, that in the moment presence. I invite you to all join into that. When you breathe, when you move, just be present with what we're doing. Cool. Talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, definitely. And just, if you want, keep that model in mind as you function. I do it all the time. Action, prayer, education, ceremony. Try to do a bit of each. I guess staying aware is important. That helps us balance. I'm relearning that, as I've said, through this show, big time. Because I was letting some parts go, because I just got too busy with other parts. That doesn't move the ball down the field. That's my only Super Bowl reference for the day. Except right on, what is he called? Bad Bunny? Way to go.
Oh, God. That's something we'll never get over.
And some people certainly won't get over it.
Oh, God. There is something called cosmic humor.
Yep. Yep.
And I think I witnessed it.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. Well,
I always like a sentence
yeah.
by John Kabat-Zinn. It says sometimes it's too serious to be serious about. And if you can't sort of take yourself with a bit of humour, you really are taking yourself too
Hey, buddy.
seriously. Talking stick in the middle.
Yep. Thank you. Oh, I guess it's probably time to move out. Who would like... Chris brought us in beautifully in the beginning with the Buddhist chant. Do we have a woman who would like to take us out at the end so we have balance?
I know Melissa always has such a strong ability
Yep.
to bring things together. Oh my gosh. I always call it my hallelujah prayer.
So instead of volunteering, we volunteer somebody else. I like this.
Yeah, really.
Melissa, it sounds like you're being called forth. Just
I guess.
just
Goes, really? Really?
just add the element of protection for the folks going up.
That's right.
Yeah, I can do a violet flame decree. I think would be really beautiful. And I have my little baby scepter. This is a celestial amethyst right here. And I'll share, my tagline on Facebook for like the last 17 years is "You've had the magic all along." So I just love when those synchronistic little things align for us as a group, because we've done this, we will do it, we're going to do it, right? What's happening has happened, will happen, and time is a construct. And for all of us, even, those of us that cannot be on the front lines, we're just as important for those of us to hold these lines in our heart and in the earth, because together. And a thought that came to me, because Jim, we know you were born on 11/11 at 11/11, and part of that picture that Valerie and I were connecting and talking about, the mycelium, there were 9 11s that were driven and drawn. So I think that when we're thinking about taking these sacred pause, and we talked about this for the solstice, we did the drumming, everybody at 11/11 their time. So if we could think about it, maybe it's posting something somewhere, maybe it's sending something to somebody. I trend to do that. And when I began connecting with angel numbers. 1111 was the first one that I became connected with. So I believe that that is that angelic presence that we have within. Like I say often, like we were angels, now we're humans, and we're learning how to be angels again. And we're kind of all, that V, So the violet flame decree is a beautiful, and a lot of times you say it 3 times. I'll say it once, and if anybody wants a copy, I can send you a copy of it. I have it on a nice meme. I'll post it on the Gathering of Eagles site. So just put your feet on the ground if you can, if you want to put your hands on your heart, if you have a violet stone, even if you have a clear quartz. You can program a clear quartz into anything. So even if you have, this is a Lemurian quartz. So I'm going to bring in Lemuria and the violet flame together for this because it's, it's a pillar of light. So just envision that beautiful pillar of light, and your body is just like this tuning fork. You're holding the energy and connecting from our great central sun all the way down through our body. Just allow that beautiful white light to just cascade down you and all the way down through your heart, through your central column, into your feet. And see your feet grounded and in the earth. You see your feet like tree roots, and take a deep breath in and pull up that beautiful silver cord from the center of our Mother Gaia through the mycelium up, and just you can anchor that around your ankles or around your waist or even up to your heart if you want that to be that anchoring point, and just see that. Beloved, I am presence bright. Round me seal your tube of light. From ascended master flame, I call forth in Creator's own name. Let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I am calling forth violet fire to blaze and transmute all desire, keeping on in freedom's name till I am one with the violet flame. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Ooh, beautiful, Melissa. Thank you. That was perfect. Thank everybody for being here, and everybody who hears this later. Thanks for the continued questions, the continued suggestions for programs. Just keep this going. This is about all of us. This is our circle, collectively. So let's just keep it growing. Brothers and sisters heading up there to the camp, blessings with you. I'm there with you in spirit. I got to Standing Rock multiple times. I won't be able to get to this one, but that's okay. I will be there standing next to you. Let's just continue to stand together and be what we are. Melissa, yeah. Thanks to everybody. Thanks for everything going on. And Valerie will continue to send love and protection to your daughter, who's there, right in the spotlight. Blessings all. Next time, every Tuesday, we'll be here. We'll get it posted somehow.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you for your spirit.
And thank you
your
to
energy.
our brothers thank you to our brothers and sisters in Pine Ridge. Really appreciate your presence, and to the grandmothers. Thank you. And to the Youth Council.
Yeah, I'm feeling Two Bears, my teacher. He was Pine Ridge as well. I feel his spirit. Good night, all.
Good night. Thank you.